everyone, this is Lisa Haven, and I've got a truly eye-opening report to share with you today. And that is this: if you don't believe the government is specifically targeting patriots, gun owners, veterans, constitutionalists, and Christians, then you will after seeing the information that I'm going to show you today. Now, what I want to do is delve through not one, not two, not three, but four specific government documents that target patriots specifically and just prove it to you, which I believe is 100% proof. Because a lot of the times you hear people like myself and other media personnel say, hey, look, they're targeting patriots, they're targeting gun owners, but where does that actually come from? Is there evidence specifically for that? And I'm going to prove it that there is. And I encourage you guys to read through these documents for yourself. Never take anyone's word for it. But in addition to that, after I've briefly gone through that, I'm going to once again attempt to briefly go through multiple, maybe 10 different news reports in which the topple effect of the attack on patriotism has begun. You're going to see things like lapels banned, the American flag banned, the Constitution shredded. That happened recently, I think, at 2 colleges, and the Constitution being banned in public places. So lots of things to delve into. So I think the best thing to do is let's start on those documents. All right, so here is our first document, and I found this on publicintelligence.net, and I want to highly encourage you guys to check out that website. I'm going to give a big shout out to them because they are constantly releasing documents, governmental documents, manuals, reports through the Freedom of Information Act. But I want to show you this first one because it gives a broad term of what terrorism is. And I'm not going to go through the whole report, but it says here, this is the FBI definition, and notice the broadness of the term. But it says the unlawful use of force or violence against persons or property to intimidate or coerce a government, the population, a segment of the population in furtherance of a political or social agenda. So again, just notice the very broad terms there, and that could really hit just a number of people. And may I suggest too, it's not always force or violence that deems someone a terrorist. We know that our government has gone after people who have not used those things. So there you have it. Now I'm going to get into the other half of this document in a moment, but I want to show you this one before I dive into that. And this is on judicialwatch.org. That's where I found this document. I'm going to leave a link. Now this is a military training document, and let me take you all the way to page 43, or the scroll page 43, because it has some pretty important information here. And it says, an introduction. An ideology, is a set of political beliefs about the nature of people and society. People who are committed to an ideology seek not only to persuade, but to recruit other people to believe the way that they do. In history, this is an attack on our founders. In U.S. history, there are many examples of extreme ideologies and movements. The colonialists who sought to free themselves from British rule, and the Confederate states who sought to secede from the northern states are 2 examples of political extreme ideology who, according to this report, if you read it in its entirety, and I'm going to leave a link below, then you know that they are specifically targeting those with the patriot mentality, those who want to stand against the wrongs, those who don't want to give up their guns. 100%. Now I'm going to scroll a little bit more in this document to page 41, and where they specifically target doomsday thinking. Well, a lot of patriots I know, they prep, they get ready, they are prepared. They prepare with guns, ammo, food, water, these kinds of things for any kind of catastrophe for that matter. But they go on to say that extremists often predict dire or catastrophic consequences from a situation or from a failure to follow a specific course. And they tend to exhibit a kind of crisis mindedness. It can be a communist takeover. Okay, we know, let's pause, Obama has communist mentality. We know Hillary also is a communist, and she's running for the next presidency. And so, yes, we are worried about communism. So if you're worried about communism, like a patriot is, because we care about our freedom, then you must be of that mentality to be an extremist. And they fear Nazi revival, a nuclear war. Why do we fear nuclear war? Because they happen. Earthquakes, floods, or the wrath of God. Specifically, that's your Christianity there. We know that in the end times, God will pour out his wrath during the tribulation period. And they have it here. Whatever it is just around the corner unless we follow their program. There's no program following, and listen to their special insight and wisdom to which only the true enlightened have access. No, people who are awake and read the documented information for themselves are awake. It ain't about, oh, take this magic pill and you have it. Okay. For extremists, any setback or defeat is the beginning of the end. That's because there is a day that there will be an end time. And if you believe in end time Bible prophecy, there you are once again a target. You believe that communism could take over, you're a target. That's a patriotism view. Now let's go over to this other document. And this is START document, and I'll leave a link again for these, but this is Hot Spots of Terrorism from 1970 to 2008, where they kind of go through, critical hot spots. But again, please read these entirety, because I am really touching the surface here, because I don't want to keep you 30 minutes. But let's scroll down to page 13, where they actually give the definition of an extreme right-wingist. Okay, here it is. A group that believes one's personal and or national way of life is under attack. Why do we believe our way of life is under attack? Because it is. Our freedoms are getting taken through political correctness crap that they're pushing. Okay, you're trying to take our guns piece by piece with a slow boil, and you're removing our freedoms with things like Obamacare and Communist Core that they're implementing in our schools. But let's go on. And is either already lost or that the threat is imminent. It is an imminent threat. For some, the threat is from a specific ethnic, racial, or religious group, and believe in the need to be prepared for an attack either by participating in parliamentary preparations and trainings or survival. What the heck is wrong with training for survivalism? Nothing. So because we know something's coming and the government knows we can stand against that, or the elite, the globalists in this case, it's not just the government here, it's a world thing, and there's good governments and there's bad governments. We got a mix here, but here's the deal. I want to get rid of the corruption in our government. I want my freedom back. And there's nothing wrong with me training for survivalism. It is a Second Amendment right to have a militia. It is a Second Amendment right for the people to make sure the government is doing and keeping our freedoms. But it goes on. Groups may also be fiercely nationalistic as opposed to universal and international in orientation. So if we believe in patriotism, in a nutshell, you're nationalistic. We believe in our country. We stand for Constitution. These are the words of a right-wing extremist. If they're nationalistic as opposed to global, anti-global, I know you guys see those words, especially if you follow biblical prophecy. New world order. If you're against the new world order, you're a terrorist. If you're a patriot in the American Constitution, you're a terrorist. Not my words, folks. This is a governmental document that targets terrorism. And as an extremist, that's the definition. It goes on to say those who are suspicious of centralized federal authority. I'd give more power to the states rather than the feds any day. Reverent or individual liberty. We believe in freedom and believe in conspiracy theories that involve grave threat to national sovereignty and or personal liberty. That's the definition of a right-wing extremist. Just that. Not that you're violent, not that you're out shooting and killing people, not that you're going haywire and nuts, but that you believe in freedom, that you're anti-global government, that you're a nationalist, you're patriotic, you don't believe in big government. Well, then you, my friends, are on the list as an extreme right-wing terrorist. Please take this to heart and share it with everyone. Moving on to the other half of that document. Now here is, again, this is public intelligence, not .net, and this is the other half of that report I showed you in the beginning. And it says, here are bumper stickers to watch out for those who are extreme general right-wing extremists. These documents are legit, by the way. They're not just, I'm not just pulling them out of my rear end. I'm not poofing them out of thin air. These are legit. Check them for yourself. But here it is. If you have these bumper stickers, you're a terrorist. What are the bumper stickers? If you love your country, the United Nations is not your friend. That's an I would put that bumper sticker on my car any day, right? Because I'm not for the UN. I'm for America, our country. I'm not for global government. Know your rights or lose them. What? So because we put a sticker saying understand things, we're marked a terrorist. Here's some more. Call to arms. Wow. Wow, because we believe that's your gun rights. Get U.S. out of the UN. Amen. What is wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. Yet, you might be a terrorist just for having these stickers on your car. Why? Because they're patriotic. They're constitutional. This is where we come from when we say that there is an attack on patriots, there's an attack on gun owners, there's an attack on veterans and Christians. And I'm not even going to get into one of the documents, Project Megiddo. I'll try to remember to leave a link for it. That one specifically targets Christianity alone. Moving on. Not to forget, last but not least, the right-wing extremist document that was distributed to police departments by Miss Janet Napolitano a few years ago. And this just kind of heats the end of the bubble. It's the last piece of the pie, the straw. But let's scroll down to page 4, and I got to get my notes here. Here is some things, those who believe that firearms are going to be restricted, weapon bans, those who stockpile weapons or ammunition, those are who they're considering as extremists, according to the definition I read from the START document a moment ago. Returning veterans, those who believe that the economy is going to collapse. I believe that at some point it will. It's not a matter of if it will, but when it will. Then it goes into those who believe in gun confiscation, that it will happen. It is. Hitler just announced that she wants to be just like Australia, which basically, in a nutshell, has their guns taken away for the most part. Anyhow, it's just very hard to get any there anyway. But detentions, if you believe in FEMA camps, which are real, if you believe in a one world government, then you're on that as well. If you believe in the financial elites, then you're on it as well. Those who believe that there is a ruling elite from behind the scenes, a shadow government per se. Then there's also this. If you believe in conspiracy theories of martial law, civil war, racial conflicts, suspension of the Constitution, the creation of detention centers, anti-government conspiracy theories, if you believe in the end times, end time Bible prophecy, if you stockpile food, ammunition, weapons, then you are a terrorist and could be deemed right-wing extremist. This bad boy goes on. If you haven't read any, I encourage you to read this in its entirety. But it goes on to say, if you believe in threats, the fear of communism. Heck yeah, because we're heading in that direction. Countries have fallen there before. And by golly, Obama is a communist. Hello? Disgruntled military veterans, how they can be easily manipulated and so on and so forth. But there's just another taste of how they're attacking patriots. Now what I want to do is take you to about 10 news reports and show you how the topple effects have already begun. Now I'm going to go through these quick. This is at Fox News, and this was a poll done by Fox News. Should we ban the American flag? Well, no, gee, George. Yet they actually did a poll, and this is back in 2010. But here is the results. There is about 10% who are idiots and actually want to ban the American flag, and another 0.18% and 3.4% who are not sure. But that's extremely disturbing on so many levels. But here we are at 2015. Now, I beg to differ. If they were to take that poll in 2015, that this would probably be doubled to 20. That's my personal opinion, but slowly but surely. Moving on here. to the next one. This is on WND News, and I'm going to leave a link to these because I'm not going to check them all, but college caught shredding the Constitution in an undercover video. This happened just this past week. Shredding the Constitution in our colleges because they found it offensive. And I believe there was not only one, but two that specifically were targeted. And it's not just in this report, but other reports that I have read, but don't quote me on that. Here's another one from the AmericanThinker.com. School administrator bans distribution of the Constitution on campus. That was back in 2014. Also, here we are at AOL.com. This was in 2015. Recently, in August, Tennessee School District bans American flag on campus. Here's another one on U.S. News. Conservative Christians furious after public school bans religious hymn to obey the court, and they also banned the Constitution. This is August 25th, and that's from therawstory.com. Moving on, California. This is foxnews.com. California colleges bar students from handing out copies of the Constitution. That was in 2013. Here is another one. Moortown Elementary School bans from school walls the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. Moving on, here we are on thefire.org, and we have Modesto Junior College students barred from distributing constitutions on Constitutional Day. What? And it says 3, actually, Modesto Junior College's students distributed copies of the Constitution, and they were barred as a result. Here is another report. Moving on. This is on HuffingtonPost.com. American flag ban at Massachusetts housing complex. What? Enrages tenants. Here's on Infowars.com. Arizona high school bans patriotic gear from a football game in order to prevent offenses from people. And then obviously we know that Barack Insane Obama stopped wearing the American flag lapel pin. Why would he do such a thing? Well, because there is obviously an agenda. Obama, or who knows, whoever gets the presidency after him, we're in for a real wake-up call. You know, through all the documentation that I shared, the blatant attack on patriots, the blatant attack on gun owners, the blatant attack on Christianity. And there's no way anyone could say that's not really happening. No, it is. And the topple effect has already begun to hit our schools, to hit our colleges, and eventually it's in our workplaces as well. It's getting there. And I would suggest that it's already there as well through political correctness. You can't wear an American flag because it might offend someone who is from another country. You can't bring the Constitution because, we're a global new world order. That's the key here. If you're anti-global, anti-new world order, they don't want us to be patriotic. They don't want us to love America. They want us to head in the direction of the new world order. And I know, coming up in Paris, France, at the United Nations meeting for climate change, UN Climate Summit, or whatever they're deeming it, coming up on November 30th through December 11th, they're going to be pushing even more the global New World Order agenda, and all those people against it worldwide, not just in America, worldwide. They're going to stand in stark opposition against. And they're already attacking those who are anti-globalization, anti-New World Order. Anyhow, I wanted to bring you all that. Please leave your comments and information below. And also, I was thinking about doing a live event. If that's something you're interested in, please comment on my YouTube channel, and I'll see what the response lies. Anyhow, this is Lisa Haven signing off.